Dummy. First I think out the story, then I write it out on a computer or a longhand, and then I make a little pretend book. I show this to my editor and my art director, and they're kind of like your teachers are for you. They might troubleshoot. They might say, Jim, this is all very well and good, but Hedges' nose is a little bit close to the edge of the page, and we're not going to be able to see him when we open the page up very well. He'll be cut in half. Or they might say, this page is great, but it's got too many words. Maybe it would be possible to cut out some of those words. So usually I agree with their suggestions, and if I don't agree with them, then I have to think of a good reason why it should be the way I think it should be. So it's about 50-50 on that. So here comes my drawing. I'm going to start with a few simple shapes, and from time to time I will turn it so everybody over here can see, and on the edges, I apologize that you don't have a straight line of vision, but I will do my best. So I'm going to start with a shape that looks like, almost like someone has cut, like a cereal bowl. So it's got a straight top and then curved sides, and that's going to be where the little china dish that Hedgie is going to watch winter from the window in. So here's the china dish, and then next comes, it almost looks like there's a grapefruit. I'm going to have it overhanging the side a little bit, and that's going to form Hedgie's head, and then a smaller circle, we're just seeing the very top of it, let's say it's an orange, that's going to form Hedgie's tummy, and then I'm going to have his little feet hanging off over the edge, and I haven't figured out a good description for that shape. A hedgehog's foot. So here we go for the first simple shapes over here. Can you see? And the first simple shape over there. So normally I would use a pencil to sketch it out with an eraser. So all the kids that are wanting to be artists, you probably know that an artist is always making a mistake and fixing a mistake, making a mistake and fixing a mistake. And that's why a lot of times artists will sketch what they're going to draw first before putting the paint on it, so that they give themselves a little wiggle room and don't get too frustrated when they want to change their mind about something. So then coming off to like this corner, I'm going to make a shape almost like an ice cream cone. That's going to have this little pointed nose. It's pointed because he puts it under logs and under leaves looking for those insects. So in the summertime when you go out into the woods, and you turn over a log, and then you see all these little beetles and worms and insects of all kinds underneath there, and maybe a salamander or two. Those are all the kinds of things that hedgehogs eat. So he'll be flipping up leaves with his little long nose. And then I'm going to pretend this is like the point of a heart. And I'm going to make the top of the heart aiming down towards the middle of that grapefruit. And that just shows the fur pattern of the hedgehog's face, because now if you look at a picture of a hedgehog, they've got soft fur around the face, and then surrounding it they've got like some more bristly fur, and then comes their little ears and then the prickles. So I'm going to make his little nose so I can just kind of get a feeling for it, and then I'm going to make that little bristly fur that kind of goes around, almost like a little lump. It's like a little lump around his head. His little ear, if you ever see a hedgehog in real life, his ear looks like a soft little piece of gray velvet. Hedgehogs have very keen sense of hearing. That's why they have very ears that are quite large, and good sense of smell, and a good eyesight too. Because they're nocturnal, their eyes are very big. So all of you that like science and the natural world know that your nocturnal animals are going to have the large eyes, like a raccoon would be an example. And I'm going to draw his eye in now. And then now it's time for me to, I've thought of some different helpful hints about drawing that I've learned over the years that I want to share with you, because I know that that's very important to you, is to have some little shortcuts with your artwork and helpful hints. So I'm going to tell you the first one. It is There's his eye, it's just a round circle there. I'm gonna work on it in a minute. But when you're drawing a character, it could be an animal, or it could be a person, could even be a robot or monster. Pay the most attention when you're drawing that character's eyes. Because as human beings, that's where we look to try to figure out what the other creature is thinking. So we're very good at it. So like, let's say you come home from school, little brother or sister's eyes are half closed, and their head is a little bit tilted on one side. You know right away they're sleepy, they maybe just woken up from their nap. Or maybe it's your best friend and their eyes are all round and you know, oh, they're excited, they probably have something interesting to tell you. So those are clues that people's faces, especially their eyes, give you. And when you do your drawing, you want the story to kind of unfold and get traction on your page. Even before you get to the words, you want the picture to tell the story too. And the best way to do that is with your character's eyes. So here's my demonstration where I lose all my dignity. I'm going to cover up my face except for my eyes. I'll let you see my eyes. And I'm going to turn my back. And when I turn back towards you, I want you to think, say what you think I'm thinking. So it could be happy, sad, scared, surprised, anything that comes to mind. You can say out loud. You don't have to raise your hand. So are you ready for the first one? I'm going to make the first one very easy. Yes? You ready? Okay. 1, 2, 3. Happy and excited. Those are so true. I was very happy. Well, I think what happened behind my eyes, you didn't see the smile, remember? But when the corners of my mouth went up underneath my hands, then it pushed my cheeks up, and it made my eyes a little bit more crescent shaped. And maybe because I was anticipating your answer and looking excited about it, my eyebrows went up a notch. So you look at those things, they were clues, and then you knew I was happy. Okay, see if you can guess this one. 1, 2, 3. Sad. I was trying to pretend to be very sad. So that time the corners of my mouth went down, and that pulled the corners of my eyes down, and then I did something fancy with my eyebrows, which was kind of squished them up in the middle because I was like very sad. And my eyebrows, instead of going like this, kind of went up in the middle. And then there was a little crease in my skin right there. So if you had a character that you wanted to make sad in your book or in your picture, you might take a mirror and make a sad face, and then copy some of the things that you saw on your own face and put them on your character. That's what I do. So you've got the trick of paying most attention to your eyes, number 1. Number 2, use a mirror to look at your own face, and then you'll have to be a little bit of an actor to do that, but think of the results you'll get. Your picture will all of a sudden come alive. I have another helpful hint, and this I've never seen in any book. It really helps me. If you're drawing something and it's looking a little bit weird to you and you're not happy with it, what you can do, you've been working on it for maybe a little while, and one thing led to another, and all of a sudden the drawing's almost done, but you're saying, something is not right. What you can do is take that picture and put it in a mirror, and it's like looking at it for the first time because everything just comes back to you backwards. So it's like getting a fresh look. And then all of a sudden you'll say, oh my gosh, look at one eye is higher than the other. Or maybe your whole character is tilted to one side, 3 degrees to the one side. And you'll say, oh, I can still fix that. And you'll be able to fix your drawing. So I think that's what I do too. I use like mirror trick. So now I'm not using the mirror trick, but now that I'm in front of it, I can see that I'm going to make a few corrections in my drawing now. So I keep emphasizing this business of constantly correcting, because I think that a lot of people, when they really want to try hard to do something well, they get frustrated if it doesn't come out perfectly the first time. And almost all artists have to get used to that, but you have to keep working on your drawing and not get too discouraged when it's not perfect right away. That's the way this would be anyway. So now I'm going to fill in Hedgie's prickers, and I've got a few more things to say about his about some shading, which is a more helpful hint. And now I'm going to work on his eyes. I'm going to make his eyelid come down like halfway as if he's sleepy. Oh yeah, I'm going to make Hedgie sleepy, but he's also happy because he's seen winter from a warm, cozy house. And also I'm going to make him a little bit worried. He's maybe anticipating that maybe this isn't going to be the way he's going to spend the whole winter. He's getting a little bit sleepy for it. So I'm going to take his his pupils of his eyes. That's the black part. So I don't know how many of you know about the anatomy of an eye, but the black part is called a pupil. That's always black. Then the outside, the iris, is either blue, green, brown, hazel, and with animals it can be golden color, or that you can do your research and find out. With hedgehogs, it's kind of a deep brown. So I'm going to add that in later, but I messed up a little bit because it's supposed to be a little teeny white spot in the pupil. And that's another helpful hint for your drawings. When you draw the pupil of an eye, leave a little white spot and it will be the sparkle in his eye. So you can probably see with me, the light reflects in my eye and there's a little piece of light in there. If you look at your next door neighbor or when you look in the mirror when you get home, you see there's like a little reflection of light. If you put that in your drawing, it will look much more realistic. And just look around at the bookstore and different ads and even cartoons, people always put a little sparkle in the eye to get, because our eyes are so reflective compared to our skin or our hair, and so that will give you a little boost in getting your character look like it's alive and that it's thinking something and will be ready to tell your story. So now I'm making, because he's sleepy and he's happy, he's got a little bit of a smile, and then have you ever noticed if someone is really sleepy, maybe they've been up all night wrapping presents, or they've just woken up from a nap, sometimes they'll have a little bit of shadows under their eye or puffiness under their eye. So you make a little shadow under Hedgie's eye, and then hedgehogs do not have eyebrows, but I have an artistic license. So I'm going to take Hedgie and put an eyebrow on him. I'm going to make it a little tuft of fluffy fur and make him look, I just want him to look a little more endearing, like he's somebody that we want to like. Because I want everyone to feel empathy for my character. I don't want them to think, oh, big deal, some hedgehog is cold. I want them to think, oh, poor Hedgie, he's really cold, when they're reading my story. So now, I think it's time to put the color in, and I'll show you about shading, which is one of my favorite tricks for turning a flat drawing into one that looks more 3D and curved. So these are Prismacolor markers. There's different brands, but it's a kind of marker, they come in like 144 colors. You can get them in a big box, and you can choose your favorite colors. But if your favorite color is teal, you could probably get teal, and then some of your other favorite ones. This is a light gray, and I'm just going to go down the side of Hedgie's china basket, and I'm going in like a half an inch. And this is going to make it look a little bit curvaceous, as if it's rounded. And I can do the same thing with his feet. They're kind of grayish anyway. So I'm going to use this light gray, and then the roundness of his tummy, and I will turn this in a minute. His little arms, and then I can go all around his face with that gray, maybe with his eyelid, and you'll see that he becomes much more realistic looking. His pretend fake eyebrow. So I'm walking the line there between a cartoon character and a realistic character. So if I was drawing a hedgehog for a museum, if I was doing like their dioramas, I probably would put the eyebrow in. Or pink cheeks. I've got a pink for just those cheeks. So now here you have the first set of the first shading for Hedgie's. These will also, I just hope it doesn't crash down because it's very wobbly. It has to go on the bus. There's the shading. Do you understand what I'm saying about it? Makes it look more 3D than flat. And then if you are the best tool of all is a pencil. You can take and sharpen your pencil. It's got a beautiful soft gray color, a pencil does. And you can just go around the edge of your drawing and your character to get that look. And then it will look more realistic. which may be one of your goals, and you may have an idea of your own. That's the way I do it. So here's a little bit of a darker gray, and I'll just go right on the edge. Oh, I was going to say one more thing about these markers in case anybody has a birthday coming up or is thinking about what might be a nice creative present. They have a thick end and a thin end. So I can use my thick end to do a little bit more shading, and this back leg is further away, so by making it dark, it looks like it's further away. Same thing with this other paw. And then I might do a little bit more work on this face. When your hedgehog has a little bit of a mask, like a raccoon, because nature will often give nocturnal animals darker fur around their eyes, so if a predator comes along and tries to jump them, it won't aim for its eyes. It will be kind of hidden in the dark fur. And then here's this little ear, and then between the prickles, I'm going to put more of this dark gray, and I'm using the way I'm putting the color on, I'm using the same direction the prickles are going in, so it just kind of saves me a little bit of time, and it gives a little texture to my drawing. So those are kind of the things that you can think up as you go along. Because, and shadow, because he's not floating in space. That's always a hard thing to remember. And next comes some beautiful brown colors. I've got this light brown, which is called, in the world of Prismacolor, it's called Cinnamon Toast. That's the thin end. And that's about the color that a European hedgehog would be, the Cinnamon Toast color. And then I'm going to add a little bit with my darker shade of this, because you can do shading with gray, or you can do shading with a little bit darker shade of the same color. And one thing that's great about these markers, and same with my watercolors, is I can put one shade over another and they kind of blend together. And they make it creates kind of a vibrancy. I don't know a good way to describe vibrancy, but it just means the colors jump around on the page a little bit and look more lifelike. So there's a little bit of brown. I might add the reddish brown for his eye, and I can put a little bit of that in his fur because he's kind of brindled. He's meant to like blend in with the leaves and different kinds of foliage so that he's not seen easily. In England and Europe, everyone loves to have a hedgehog in their garden because they eat all the bad bugs, like for example slugs that can be very damaging to your flowers or to your vegetables. So everybody says, oh, I want a hedgehog to come every night and eat up those bad slugs that are ruining my flowers. So here's pink, and I'm using my artistic license again and giving Hedgie pink cheeks and a little pink to his ear, because even though it's not really totally non-fiction book, it's a fiction book. So I'm adding a little bit of my own touches to make him more appealing. So I'm not embarrassed to say that, but I want him to look like he's very cute. So now I love to have my stories go back in time. I don't really know the answer why, except for my imagination just starts to run away with me more if I'm thinking about it could have happened maybe 50 years ago, 100 years ago. And so I put him in this, when I was in Denmark doing my research, my grueling research. I saw the thatched roof farm in Denmark and tried to copy that for my book. And then I went to a lot of folk museums and I saw this beautiful china there. It's called Royal Copenhagen, and there's modern pieces now, but the olden ones had like little cracks on the side. And then that blue would kind of fade off, so it would be darker blue in the middle where there would be flowers and the design. And then it would fade off into a lighter blue. So I tried to do that in the book to make it look like it might have been from the olden days. And so Lisa would have been a little girl from a few years ago. And I'm all done, so I will, almost forgot his little whiskers. Because sometimes it's those little details that make all the difference. And that's why you want to give yourself plenty of time to do your drawing so you can kind of imagine yourself in the place. He has very thin little whiskers. And you'll see how that just does it. It makes them look really adorable to have those whiskers. A rabbit or a cat has much thicker ones, and his are almost like see-through. And then, an artist should always sign their work. And I will even put the date. I'll just put December and 2018. And the reason why is to remind myself, and maybe it might be new information to you, that an artist, you know, it's a natural process that people are very good at doing. And the more that you draw, the better you get at it. You don't really even need a teacher like you do with learning how to dive or learning how to ride a bike for the first time. Just the more you draw, the better you get at it. You observe nature, you observe the world around you, and then you draw it and you erase your mistakes. And then all of a sudden you'll find out after practicing that you will be able to draw something very well. I loved horses, so I just worked on horses for about until 6th grade. And I got good at horses, and I think that gave me a little bit of confidence. So the last thing I'd like to tell you is a little bit about your creativity, because it's my special time with you, because you're the future, and I love books, especially illustrated books, and I like to think that there are lots of children and adults that are thinking that this might be in their future, creating their own book. So if you look at your finger or your thumb, you can see there's like little lines there. That's your fingerprint. It's like a tiny little lines, you can hardly see them. And everybody in the world has a different fingerprint. You are the only one, you're totally unique, that has that. And the same thing goes for how you draw a picture or read a story. No one can do it just like you. If we were all to draw hedgehogs, put them up on the wall, you would be amazed at how different they were. And you would be able to pick out your very own that you did. And you were born with certain gifts, certain talents. Like one person might be very good at portraits. Another one might be good at putting colors together. Yet another person might be good at buildings and perspective and cars. So you have all these combos of talents. You have a little recipe that you have in your talent box. But then you also have your experiences. So let's say you're a person who likes to climb trees. You go up those trees and you're looking at the bark as you hold on and go up that tree. And you will not be one of those children who make every single tree with your black crayon. Because you will know that trees all have different kinds of bark, different textures. And often that bark is light gray and green, or it could be a birch tree and be white, or it could have orange fungus or lichens on it. And so when you look very closely at tree bark, I think you'll be very surprised that it is not the same black as your black crayon. So those are your experiences. And then lastly, your likes and dislikes. So I like hedgehogs, so I don't mind spending a lot of time trying to get my hedgehog just right because of my love of hedgehogs. So you can think deeply about some of the things that you like, whether it be dragons or dinosaurs or beautiful scenes or rainbows or hearts and roses. You will remember that when you're drawing them, and that will keep you going to make your perfect drawing. So lastly, when I go and work on my artwork, I start with a big page, and there are challenges in the next couple of weeks that you take a kitchen timer and make it go for an hour, because you really need to focus when you're drawing. And just tell your family that you want to have a little alone time and not be interrupted because you want to do a creative project. Get your art materials out, and when you start drawing, you'll add a little bit here, add a little bit there. You might decide what the weather is in your picture. You might decide what the characters are saying, or what if there's a cool breeze, or if there's a good smell in the picture. And as you do it, all of a sudden the world around you kind of disappears, and the world that you're drawing starts appearing until you've created a little world in your picture. And when that happens to me, it makes illustrating fresh and alive for me, and it's why I love being a children's book illustrator, and I hope you do too. Thank you very much.